Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about a technology that completely changed the game for Java developers, making everything faster, smarter, and just a whole lot less painful. We're talking about Spring Boot. So let's kick things off with a feeling that I'm sure every single developer out there knows all too well. You get this amazing idea for an app, you're super excited to start, but then you get totally bogged down in hours, maybe even days of configuration before you can write a single line of code that actually does something. It's frustrating, right? Well, that's the exact problem we're going to solve today. Okay, so to really get why Spring Boot is such a big deal, we kind of have to go back in time a little. Before Spring Boot, we had the Spring framework. And look, don't get me wrong, the original Spring is incredibly powerful. But all that power came at a cost, you know? It had a really steep learning curve and just a ton of work you had to do upfront just to get a simple project off the ground. Back in the day, you were just drowning in these massive XML files trying to wire up every little piece of your application. You had to manually hunt down all your dependencies and then just pray that the versions would actually work together. It was a total nightmare. This all meant writing tons and tons of what we call boilerplate, that same repetitive setup code over and over again for every single project. And even after all that, you still had to go and set up a whole separate web server just to run the thing. So yeah, it was pretty obvious that something had to change. The power of Spring needed to be easier to tap into. And so the community came up with a much smarter solution, a real game changer that was designed to just get rid of all that complexity. So what is Spring Boot really? If you only remember one thing from all this, let it be this. Spring Boot is just a faster, smarter way to use Spring. It's not a replacement, it's more like an evolution. It lets you use all the power of the original Spring, but with just a tiny fraction of the effort. All right, let's look at how it actually fixes all those headaches we just talked about. That heavy XML configuration? Gone. It's replaced with smart, sensible defaults. That manual dependency hunt? Solved. Now you just use these simple things called starters that bundle up everything you need. All that boilerplate code? It just vanishes thanks to something called auto-configuration. And that external server you had to manage? You don't need it anymore. Spring Boot apps come with one built right in. So how in the world does it pull off all this magic? I mean, it really does feel like magic sometimes, but it's not. It's actually just a few really clever core ideas working together behind the scenes. So let's pull back the curtain and see exactly what's going on. The real heart of Spring Boot's magic is this one big idea: auto-configuration. The best way to think about it is like having a super smart assistant. If you add the tools for building a web app to your project, Spring Boot sees that and basically says, okay, looks like you're building a web app. I'll go ahead and set up a web server and all the other stuff you're probably going to need. It just makes intelligent guesses for you so you don't have to. So what this means for you as a developer is that your whole workflow just gets incredibly simple. It really boils down to just 3 steps. 1, you pick your starters, these little packages based on what you want to build. 2, you get to just focus on writing the actual code, the stuff that makes your app unique. And 3, you just run it. That's it. It's that simple. And the ultimate payoff for all this simplicity is speed. And I don't just mean the speed of writing your code. I'm talking about the speed of the entire journey, from that first idea in your head to a live application that's ready for real users. How does it do it? Well, it all comes down to the number 1. Your entire application, web server included, gets packaged into one single standalone file. You don't have to go install and configure a separate server or anything. You just run that one file and boom, your application is live. It's a really, really powerful concept. And this right here is the killer feature. You can go from an idea to a truly production-ready application in minutes. And these aren't just little toy projects. Spring Boot apps come with features you absolutely need for the real world built in, like health checks, metrics, and easy configuration. So, as you can see, the whole point of Spring Boot is to just get the friction out of your way so you can focus on what actually matters, building great software. And you know what the best part is? Getting started is just as simple as everything else we've talked about. And I am not exaggerating. You can literally go to the Spring Initializer website right now, generate a brand new project, and have it up and running on your machine in like 5 minutes. The barrier to entry is basically 0. Look, at the end of the day, Spring Boot's whole mission is to handle the tedious configuration for you so you're free to do the fun, creative part, the idea. It takes care of the how so you can focus on the what. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build?